I want to ask you about your property journey as a whole, because one, it's not been easy, but you've done it very, very quickly. You've been very successful, but very quickly as well. And what you've achieved in that period of time, I know it's hard to achieve what you've achieved, but let's explain to the audience listening what it is you've actually achieved and how much that it makes you now, because I think it's ridiculous. So let's go from the very beginning.
Yeah.
How you actually what you learned, and then where you are today.
Okay. So how I started, I literally came across property by accident.
Yeah.
Literally. I always knew I didn't want to work for someone else, but I just didn't know how. But it was the reason why I had to do it that made me do it.
Why?
When I was working for Selfridges in 2017, I was very comfortable. I had a stable job, but I was only saving about 200, 300 pounds at the end of the month. So after all bills, rent, sending a few hundreds back home to my mom and my brothers. But I had the realization that, is this the reason why I came to the UK? Is this why I packed my bags and I left my family back home, and I'm not spending the holidays with them, and I'm not having the time that I'm not spending Ramadan Eids, like nothing with them? That's not the reason why I came to the UK. Otherwise, I'll just stay back home and just save that 200, 300 pounds. But at least I would be with my loved ones. So this realization came to me, but then I didn't know what to do. And then one day, at the end of my shift, I was just talking to a colleague about reaching the target, not reaching the target, and walk into our lockers to get our stuff to go home. And my mom calls me and she said, we're about to get evicted from our house. It's the house that I was born and raised in. And I didn't know any other house. So us being evicted from there, it was a very blank moment, And I was like, okay, I'm going to find a way, and you don't need to worry. We're going to go somewhere. Mum doesn't like renting. Mum always owned the house. So I asked her, is the government not going to give us anything? Because by the time they give us something, because we're of the inheritance, who owns the house, blah, 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 it's going to be years and years. I was okay, cool. Leave it for me. So I was looking for a business. I tried trading, I tried Shopify, I tried e-commerce, you name it. I've tried them. I never really thought I would be in property. I always had this skeptical idea. I always thought that property was for people of a certain age, 40 plus. You need to have capital, a lot of money. You need to put a down payment. You need to have a mortgage. My credit score was not the best at that time. I was, still new in the UK and not British yet. And, it was just the whole thing. So I never thought I would be able to make it in property. Then one day there was 2 events in the same hotel in central London. And those free events where you go and you just attend and they will sell you something at the end of the event. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just go. It was about trading. And said, maybe this time it's going to be different. So was late a little bit. The lady at the reception said, Hadjer, she didn't know my name. I asked her about the event, and she said, just walk straight, turn right. That's what I've done. Walk straight, turned right. But I found myself in a completely different event. I didn't know that. I was a bit late, so I grabbed the first seat, and the only available seat was at the front. So me walking in late, all eyes on me. People were like, oh, you came late. Speaker on stage. So I grabbed the seat, started listening. A few minutes, like, hold on a second. This is not what I'm meant to be here for. But it was too embarrassing to walk out, right? Because I was at the front. There must be a break.
Is it Liam speaking?
It was Liam, yeah, it was Liam. It was, and
It's so much energy as well.
Trust me. About 400 people in the room, everyone locked in, listening to him. And me was like, oh, you know what? When is this going to end? There must be a break. I need to reach for the other event. Necessary. But he was talking about how you can start in property without having a lot of money, without having a huge credit score, without knowing much, without, and it sounded like he was talking to me. I said, you know what, Hadjer, forget about the other event. Just listen to what this guy has to say. I didn't have nothing to lose anyways. And if you're not winning much, trust me, you don't have a lot to lose. So I stayed the whole day, listened to him. And just going back to the story, and his story was just amazing. And I was like, oh my God, if this guy has gone through this much and is where he is right now, I think it's worth it. So I signed up, went to a 3 days boot camp, listened to everything he had to say. I'm now working closely with Liam, which I'm very, very grateful. And then I went on, got my first property, second property, so many properties, just because I had a reason why. All I could see was my mom being evicted. All I was waiting for is that phone call saying, Hadjer, we're done. It's our last day. So I kept on grinding. I had a lot of people saying no to me. I had a lot of people closing doors or hanging up phones on me. I had a lot. Did I care? No. Because my reason why was more important to me than any no I was receiving. Till one day, someone believed in me, gave me their first property. So he asked me, said, why are you doing this? And I told him my story. I said, because I want to help my mom. And it's okay if you say no. I want to help my mom. My mom is about to be evicted. So he noticed, or he saw in me, and he believed in me. He saw that spark that I was not here to bullshit him. I was not here not to make it. I was determined that I was going to make it. First property made me £400. A fourth of my salary. Wow. Second property, a bit more. Third property, maybe a bit less. 4, 5, 6 properties. Now properties average £1,000 each. I'm like, it's time to sack my boss. It's time to say bye to the people I the people I used to work with, and focus and put the same level of energy into my own business. Yes, kept on making mistakes, kept on making people proud, kept on providing the best service to the landlords, and landlords referred me to another and another to another, and that's how I grew my business. And in COVID, it just while people were returning their properties, I was just taking them.
I was going to ask you about COVID. There's so many questions that I could ask off at the back of the rent to rent. I would ask them because there's many people that have been on the show that I've spoken to about the rent to rent model that go, do you know what? It's not actually investing in property. And I said, well, have you got any? No. Does it make you money? Yes, it is a business. Do you know what? It's a business. And if you run it properly, it can make you some serious money. But because I think they're investing in bigger developments, they see it as, well, why would you bother doing it, making it 500, maybe £1,000 a month, because they see it as high risk. What are your thoughts on the people that say rent to rent's pointless?